Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you are now tuned in to the Investor Show.
As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, we will be, kind of hit the wrong button there. As always, we got a very interesting topic coming up for you guys and girls today. And I think you guys and girls are going to enjoy it. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about Apple lawsuit. We're going to be talking about real estate rebounding. And we're also going to be talking about the big money moves, August 20th, and some more great things. What's going on in the market, ladies and gentlemen, and the lessons you're going to learn from dealing with investing. But let me see what you guys and girls are saying in the comments. Don't be afraid. Come in and say hello. Hello, how is it going there? Big Al, what's going on to the Prince of Investments? Yes, sir. It's me. I'm in the building. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to start. Go ahead and get into the show. Tell where you guys are at. Eddie P out there in Japan. What's going on, Eddie? Definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, and share button if you're catching this live. Well, y'all give me 1 second here. Thought I already had this locked on. But the first topic we're going to get into, we're going to go with Apple versus Fortnite. And then we're going to go to the other topics, right? Apple versus Fortnite. You know, Apple's been on the road for the last couple of days. We all know that, right? You're right. Ready Eddie shuttle services out there in Japan. That's our guy right there. But let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing we're talking about, Apple versus Fortnite. What's going on with Apple versus Fortnite? Everybody know Apple has been on a tear ever since the split went on. Ever since we had the Apple split, you've seen Apple go on a tear. Same thing happened with Tesla. Ever since Tesla's gone on, Tesla's been going on a tear. Ever since these things have happened to these companies, can we get ever since we've been having everything happen, oh, that's my guy Max B. Can we get a Wesley book plug? Max B, what's going on? I had some difficulties yesterday, last night. They didn't want to let me to be great. I don't know what happened. But he said, can we get a Wesley book plug? Of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can get the Wesley Learns book series on all available sources, barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, iTunes, Audible. You can get the ebook, paperback, hardcover. I always tell people ebooks, paperback, hardcover, audio. So all the audio books are out there across the globe. So go in there and get that now if you don't already have it. And also, I want you to, I always tell people, don't donate to me, support me, right? Don't donate to me, support me. I mean, people have donated in the past. That's cool. But I'd rather people support me than to donate to me, all right? Appreciate that. Woke One, slow down. Slow down, Woke One. We're going to get into that. He said, hi, Prince, what do you think about Buffett buying gold? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that too. That's the big money moves. Remember when I did an episode that told y'all why is August 15th such a big day for the big money? I did that show probably about 3 weeks ago. I did an episode called Why is August 15th a big day for big money? In this episode, you're going to see why. Guess what the day is? August 15th. Go look at the episodes. I said August 15th will be a big day for big money. August 15th is a big day for big money, ladies and gentlemen, because August 14th, as of yesterday, that was the deadline for every institutional investor who manages over $100 million every quarter. They have to turn in their 13F report. We're going to look at some 13Fs. I'm going to show you not to only look at Woke One. You probably read that from CNBC or whatever the case may be, but I'm going to show you exactly what does that look like, right? We're going to go through 13F reports through the SEC. What a 13F report is going to tell us, it tells us exactly what was purchased from companies, right? Well, I mean, not what was purchased from companies. It tells you exactly what the companies are holding. So what people can add and subtract and see what the big institutional, what smart money is doing, all of the great stuff for the past quarter. This happens every quarter. The second quarter was April, May, June. 45 days after the third quarter ends, you're required to turn in your 13F report telling where all of your holdings are if you manage $100 million or more. That's why you see people. I told you August 14th, go look at my old episodes. You'll see me talking about, guys, this is going to be a big day for money and everybody's going to be running around, all the good stuff like that. But don't worry about it, Woke One. We're going to get into it. Thanks for tuning in. Now, here's another one, what we're going to do here. All right. So the first thing we're going to get into, we're going to go with Apple versus Fortnite. So Apple versus Fortnite. Everybody already knows Apple and Fortnite. So Apple has the App Store. If you remember the earnings from previous earnings season, they had a blowout earnings, and a lot of their earnings was due to the App Store, right? I can't say the exact number. I didn't look up the exact number, but Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, said, hey, due to our in-store apps, we made a lot of money. And guess what? That lets me know that Zoom is probably going to be going to do very good because the demand for Zoom is continuing to rise because everybody thought by the summer or fall, coronavirus would kind of be sliding out of the way, but it's not. It's still piling up. It's still building, right? So give me 1 second here. So what we're going to do is, so what happened was in the App Store, if you sell anything on the App Store, like I was saying last night before I had some technical issues, if you sell anything in the App Store, Apple gets 30% of it. I have audiobooks in the App Store. I created and published the app how many years ago? I can't remember how many years ago that was. It probably was like 6 years ago. And, you know, if you have an in-store app, download something like that, you can be charged or you will be charged about 30%. So you look at Apple, you know, everybody only has two options. You got the App Store, you got the Google Store. So what happens is a company like Fortnite, right? Y'all give me 1 second. A company like Fortnite has what? Make sure I got that on. A company like Fortnite relies on the App Store and the Google Store to submit its products, right? So what's happening inside of the App Store, Fortnite is saying, man, this is not fair. Why do I have to pay 30%? Why is Apple taking 30% of my pay? And with that being said, Fortnite has accused Apple of being a monopoly. Pretty much, they went to Apple and said, we don't think 30% is right. They turned around and went to Google. Google kicked them out. Google said, hey, if you got a problem with our 30% charge, bye. You don't have to be in our App Store. And now Fortnite is suing Apple because of, they're saying, hey, a monopoly. Hey, it's a company called Epic Games, or Tencent is one of the companies. I think it's Epic Games or Tencent owns Fortnite, and they're pretty much suing Apple, saying, hey, you have a monopoly. You know, you kicked us out of the store. Your fees are too excessive or whatnot, because Apple dominates the space. If you get out of the Apple Store, if you got a podcast and you can't get your podcast on the Apple, you're talking about 1 billion people that can't access your material. So it is a big deal for them to have. So Fortnite is fighting Apple behind that. Anytime you see a company, so what does that mean for investors? If you could look at the stock trading on Friday, Apple cooled off. Apple started to tone down. The same thing with Uber and Lyft, right? We're going to get into Uber and Lyft a little bit later in the show. But once you get that bad negativity, everything kind of starts to tone down for you, right? So right now, by Fortnite jumping at Apple, saying Apple is this and doing bad business because of the excessive fees, they are now making it look like pretty much making the company be under threat, because Apple could say, you know what, you're right, 30 is excessive, let's go to 20%. And if they go to 20%, that's going to hurt their top line, right? But if they go, Apple could say, screw you, and go to 40%. But what this is going to do in the business realm, let's talk business for a second. What this does in the business realm is it creates competition. Because guess what? Now it opens up the door for a third party to say, hey, look, this is the same thing that Microsoft was doing back in the day. If you remember Microsoft and Bill Gates, they got accused of having a monopoly. Why? Because when you brought a computer, whether you brought a Dell, a Toshiba, whatever computer you brought, already installed was Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Windows was automatically installed on your computer. So if you was a rival company, let's say if I had a software company, I don't even have a chance. I was like, well, why would somebody even get my software company when when Microsoft Windows is on everybody's computer? So if you had a software, your software had to be Windows compatible. So what people would do, they accuse Microsoft of having a monopoly. They control the whole market, meaning they can control the price, all of the good stuff like that, or whatever, right? So Microsoft kind of created its own arch nemesis, Apple, to kind of combat them. Now, Apple is claiming to be the same thing that it went against. Apple was a little guy going up against Microsoft. Now, Apple is the big guy, and Fortnite is now on a political run saying, hey, look, you guys are the big guy, things like that or whatnot. Is it unfair? Yes. The only thing it does is the beautiful thing about capitalism is it can create it for a third party. If you're Fortnite, put your stuff on the internet, put it on the web. They want to take that 30% in for themselves. They want to take it away from Apple. Apple, who wants to give up their top line revenue? You crazy? Nobody wants to give up their top line revenue. So Apple doesn't want to give it up. But if I was Apple, I would be, make a compromise, which they don't have to do a compromise. The only bad thing, if Apple does a compromise, that means they're going to be compromising for everybody else, ladies and gentlemen. If they do a compromise with Fortnite, they're going to have to lower their fees for everybody. Look at all the money they make off of iTunes. I download music off of iTunes. I think I got whatever that thing called with iTunes where I can just get anybody's music, but that's a bad thing because that can hurt their revenue across the board. Now, what do I think is going to happen? What I think is going to happen? How do I think it's going to pan out? I don't think nothing's going to happen. I think that Fortnite is going to run up against them and they're going to fight them and call them the big bad bully on the block. Apple is going to take it in stride. But this negative PR has slowed down their, everybody in America loves the underdog. Everybody loves the little guy. That has helped me out in a lot of situations, right? Everybody in America loves the little guy that's strapping to get to the top to get a position. So that will hurt Apple's image, but I don't think Apple will want to give up any of their revenue, especially in a time like this, right? When they just had blowout earnings. So let me see what you guys and girls saying in the comment box before we go into the next topic, which is real estate. Michael, what's going on? Mike from Toronto. Yes, we're on live. LK Ross said, are we live? Bill Gates is saying that they will have a vaccine to distribute soon. We'll see, LK Raw. If you want to take advantage, if you really do believe in that, there's one way you can benefit from that. Look up a stock symbol called PILL, PILL. That's a leveraged bullish ETF on the vaccine. So as vaccine talks, let me see what the price is today of PILL. I think it's around 14, 16 bucks the last time I seen it. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's $15.99. It's 16 bucks right now. But that is a leveraged bullish ETF on the pharmaceutical industry. As the pharmaceutical industry goes up, as vaccinations come up, you're going to see companies like this one really shoot up, right? So right now there's a race to a vaccination, but that vaccination is going to have to be tested. If it came out tomorrow, I'm not going to be the first person in line to get the vaccination because, they're going to be, I take it and be like, oh yeah, I forgot a side effect is blindness. Now I got to be blind because I want to be the first person to get the vaccination. So I don't expect people to be lined up around the corner to get the vaccination. That's my opinion. Yeah, Epic. Yeah, Kendrick, what's going on? He's saying is Epic is the other company. Nice. Keen Carter said they don't need Apple or Google. Most players are on PlayStation and Xbox. You're right. He's talking about Epic Games, Fortnite. But the problem with it is some people do use it on their phone. Some people may want to have it on their phone. I don't know why. This is giving them, think about it. This is giving Fortnite greater publicity. This is giving Fortnite greater publicity to go after Apple. Right now, Fortnite is now in all the headlines. I'm talking about it. Everybody's talking about it in finance because they're going up against the big people. The customers get to gather around them and feel like a cult-like following, like, yeah, let's go after Apple. Good marketing strategy. But you're right. I'm like, create a website. People can play it online, like World of Warcraft. Most people I know that play like World of Warcraft and Fortnite and things like that usually play it online. I think, my son he played on his tablet. I don't think he's in the app store or nothing like that, but who knows? 30% only hurts mom and pop stores. Yeah, you're right. Mom and pop store apps. Yes, like the everyday person, King Carter, if you created a app, yeah, it will hurt you. But think about it. If you are a big company and you're making $1 billion a month, right? a year. See if you're bringing in $1 billion a year. That 30%, that 300 million is a lot of money that you would like to cut out of your bottom line, right? Say if your company is bringing in $1 billion, but out of that billion, let's say 30% is going to Apple. I would have to look at the financial reports to see how much they're paying to be in the App Store. But let's think about it. When you're small and you make $100,000, or let's say if you're small and you make $10,000 and you got to give $2,000-$3,000 to Apple, to the App Store, you don't care about it. But once you start making $1 billion, then you may have a problem with it. All right, to make sure. Hey, for everybody that's coming in, everybody, I forgot to do this, but make sure
hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button.
And grab your Investor Show mug. Only way to read the financial reports, as you guys already know, and girls. Let me get back to y'all comments. Monopoly is not true. You can get Fortnite and on Android outside the Google store. You're right. But guess what? Google is in bed with Fortnite. It's just like you look at potato chips, or you look at potato chips and Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Coca-Cola and Pepsi or Lay's. I don't know all the big potato chip companies. But when you have the two big guys, they can control the price. You can easily control the price. You can say, hey, you know what? We're going to make the bag of Doritos $5. And we're going to have a dollar version of the Doritos. But if you get the dollar version of the Doritos, it's going to cost you how much money, right? If you get the dollar version of the Doritos, how much money is it going to cost you? So, hold on, make sure. So the big boys do have a big influence on what the price is going to be or whatnot. But you're right. I agree with that. Mom and pop stores are happy to be in the App Store. Possibly number in sales can't be better. Yes, because, they get access to 1 billion people. Take me, for example. I'm happy to be on YouTube and Instagram and iHeartRadio and who else? I don't know. All these other major platforms that you could catch this show on. Yeah, I'm happy to be there, right? And if they're taking a nice little piece, you're a small-time guy, you're like, hey, I'm happy to be there, right? But if you're a CNBC and it's costing you this much money just to be there, then you might have a problem with it. Okay, we got North Carolinians in the house. He said, funny how Epic did not go after Sony or Microsoft, who do take 30%. After Sony, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Because, everybody goes behind a big boy on the block. He said, at ACE, we're going to go through that. He said, Warren Buffett has brought some Southwest and Delta Airlines stocks recently. We're going to look into that. You know what? Let's make that our next topic. We're going to go into the big money. Everybody wants to talk about the big money. Let's go into the big money. How can you tell what's going on with the big money, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all tell me, how can you tell what's going on with big money? How can you tell what big money is doing? So right now we're going to go into big money Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, August 15th. Now, to go back what I said earlier, I told everybody, I did an episode about 3 weeks ago, and I told everybody August 15th is going to be a major day for big money. And the reason why I say it's going to be a major day for big money, because I knew the 13F, the Form 13F was going to come out. Ladies and gentlemen, the Form 13F comes out every quarter, 45 days after the quarter ends. So the first quarter was January, February, March. Second quarter was April, May, June. 45 days after June 30th takes you to August 15th. Guess what today is? August 15th. On August 14th, it was a deadline, Friday, August 14th. If you manage $100 million or more, you must report all of your holdings. And what some people do, they look at the holdings you reported last quarter, and they look at the holdings you reported this quarter, and then they can see where you added and subtracted. And that's why you see all these articles coming out saying, Warren Buffett did this, Warren Buffett did that, Buffett brought this, he sold this, he did this, he did that. Because before that, everybody was saying, Warren Buffett is not buying stocks. I'm like, you won't know until August 15th. unless he owns 10% more of the company. How do we know about Bank of America? Because he's a 10% owner. He's a majority owner of Bank of America. If you own 10% more of the company, that's why he talked about airlines and things like that. The funny thing about the airlines is he dumped the airlines in May at his annual meeting. So now he's what you call it. So here we go. That's what y'all say in the comments before we get into it. Look at y'all. Look. Nick said S&P 500. I don't know what you mean by that, Nick. ACE channel. Okay, I see it. Come on, Max B. He said the 13T. I think he meant 13F. He just clicked on the wrong thing. Fortnite crossed 1 billion in revenue from Google. Think about it. And they're looking at it like, man, instead of having 1 billion, we could have had 1.6 billion, just assuming. Because if they got $1 billion from Apple and Google, and they paid 30% to Apple and Google to be in their store, that's what, 300 million a piece, right? So if they had to pay, they're like, man, we could almost doubled our revenue. We can get these guys to cut their fees. So that's why they're going behind the big guys. And it's good PR for them. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to get into this 13F report. All right, I'm going to show you how to look it up. So this is sec.gov, Security and Exchange Commission.gov. What you're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to go to company filings. Then you're going to go to latest filing. Up on the latest filing, you go to 13F. Boom, 13F, hit enter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these are all the 13F reports that were put in. You can see all of them were filed on August 14th. This was all the big money. This Visionary Wealth Advisor. All these companies you're seeing listed here own 100 million or more in assets. Sears Capital, some of these companies I never heard of. Look at all these companies that have 100 billion or more. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good way you can use to find hedge funds. If you want to find hedge funds in your area, you can Google hedge funds in Los Angeles. And then once they pop up, once you know what the name is, you can come here and you can see what they're holding. But let's say we want to look at Berkshire Hathaway. Everybody's talking about what Warren Buffett got, what he did, all that good stuff like that. Here we go. All right. So this is what on Friday, August 15th, this is what Berkshire reported having in their portfolio. They reported having some Amazon. Of course, we already knew there was a large holding in Amazon. I think column the value is about, I'm pretty sure that's in the billions. So they're looking at about 1.4 billion in Amazon. Then they got American Express. Of course, they got a crap ton of Apple. They're the largest shareholder in Apple. Bank of America, we know they added on to their Bank of America. The Coca-Cola they got in here, Costco's, General Motors, Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan, Kroger. You can see it's in alphabetical order too. MT Bank, MasterCard, Moody's, Procter & Gamble, Sears Satellite Radio, Pharmaceutical Company, U.S. Bank Corp, Vanguard Index. So they got an index fund. Oh, they got an S&P 500 index fund. Not that much into the index fund, surprisingly. They got UPS. They own how much? 6,000? That got to be about 6 million, I'm pretty sure. Not sure that decimal there. Visa, Wells Fargo. I don't see any airlines in here, but we can look that up. So this is what exactly what Berkshire reported on Friday of their holdings. Now, let's go back and let's see what they purchased. Let me see. All right, let's go here. I want to see all of their filings. This is all of them? No, I don't want a 13F. I don't want no form. Let's go here. So that's exactly what they're holding here. Y'all give me 1 second. I want to look up and see. Not I put in the 13F. I just want to look up Berkshire in general. So that I was looking at all of the all the 13 Fs that have been filed. No, I don't want the 13F. Okay, here we go. So I already put the 10Q report. So let's see what we got here. I think I went over these already. Yeah, I think this is when they brought a bunch of Bank of America. Now let's take a look and see what else they filed here on their 10Q. Maybe they put something in their 10Q. Documents. All right, yeah, this is their annual report. Now I don't see that back on there. I don't see it in their current holdings. So Karen said, any institutions you are looking at in the 13F. I can look up any company that has over 100 million. I could look up, let's say Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio owns Bridgewater. So I could look up Bridgewater. Let's take a look at what Ray Dalio has. He's another pretty popular hedge fund manager that I like to see come on the show one day. One day I'll meet him. I never met Ray Dalio. That'll be pretty cool. I think that's what, Bridgewater? Maybe I spelled something wrong there. Make sure. Y'all give me 1 second. Bridgewater Associates. That's what it's called, Bridgewater Associates. You know what I could do? Y'all give me 1 second. Make sure I got the right one. Yes, it Bridgewater Associates. Associates. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to Home. I'm going to go to Company Filings. Bridgewater Associates. I think that's it right here. No. I think he's publicly traded too. Why not coming up here? Let me see. There we go. Bridgewater Associates. So they filed theirs on the 12th. They filed theirs 2 days before the deadline, which most companies don't do. So here's what Ray Dalio. This is what Bridgewater and Associates reported. They got 3D System, Activision, which is a gaming company. They reported, who else they got in here? Any noticeable names? Allstate, Autodisc, AutoZone, Campbell Noodle Soup. They got Carnival. All right. They got Costco's as well, CVS, DaVita here's, I'm seeing this a lot in a lot of hedge funds. DaVita, this is, if I'm saying that right, that's pretty much what people who on Dallas. I know my mom was on Dallas before she passed away, and she did a lot of stuff with DaVita. So, and I'm seeing that in a lot of hedge funds. I'll take a look into that company. Equifax, they have in here. Who else they got in here? Fidelity, FireEye. FireEye. Then it's like a cybersecurity company. They got Fortnite. Okay. Fortnite. That's a company that I've been talking about. Remember that company I was telling y'all about, Fortnite, that cybersecurity company I was telling y'all about? Fortnite. FRTNT, Fortnite. So here it is. Ray Dalio got Fortnite. Okay. General Dynamic, General Mills, cereal, Goodyear. I'm not crazy about Goodyear. Harley Davidson, Hershey's. Never go anywhere with Hershey's. HD Supply. Some healthcare companies in here. So they got some iShares. They got a lot of foreign iShares. They got Taiwan, Brazil, uh, Mexico, international ETFs from iShares. They got Johnson. No, that's not Johnson & Johnson. Kansas City Southern, Kraft Heinz. I thought Berkshire had a bunch of Kraft Heinz. I didn't see it in there. I think they're majority shareholder in Kraft Heinz. Macy's. Ooh, they're holding on to Macy's. Not that many shares, but they got Macy's. I'm surprised they haven't jumped ship on that one. Who else is in here? Let's see if they got some airlines. See if they got some Southwest. No, don't look like they got no Southwest, huh? No Southwest. Smuckers, JM. They got Snap Incorporated, which is Snapchat. All right. They got a gold ETF. They got a nice little chunk in the gold. They got an ETF, S&P 500 ETF. They got the Spider. They got Splunk. Okay. Starbucks. Cisco. That's a food company. I think they put food in the military, prisons, restaurants everywhere. Oh, look. Tesla. 9,767. They own a good they got a good bit of a Tesla here. What a nice chunk of Tesla. Nice chunk of Tesla here. T-Mobile. Train. Okay. S&P 500. Waste management. I looked into waste management. I can't really get down waste management. I didn't know waste management costs that much. Excel Energy. That's what I pay my energy bill to. All right. So that's a quick little look at some of your famed investors, right? Any of your famed investors that are out there, right? King Carter says, check out ARKKK, see what they have been buying. ARKK, who is ARKK? Is that a stock symbol or that's the name of a company? I should have had my glasses on for today's episode. She said, I like the Bill and Melinda Trust. Nice. Yeah, I asked the same thing, Karen. What is ARKK? I never heard of them. Dervin Smith, good morning from Honolulu, Hawaii. Hope everyone is doing well. Dervin Smith, what's going on out there in Honolulu, Hawaii? And I appreciate you for tuning in. And I like your, get all that sunlight. Send some of that sunlight out here to Colorado. It's not bad. It's a beautiful day in Colorado, actually. Randy Johnson in the house. That's my guy, Randy Johnson, y'all. What's going on, Randy? He said, blessings up to Princess. Appreciate it. Yeah, Princess Dykes. That's my late mother from 2013. John says, I love your investing talks. You make it easy for me to understand things, bro. I was hesitant, but I finally brought a share of Apple up 10%. Look at you. Being smart and stuff. Just pulling the trigger. You know what King Carter said some the other day? He said, hey, Prince, did you buy some puts on Red Robins? I think he said he brought puts on Red Robins or something. He asked me, did I buy puts on Red Robin? I said, no, I didn't buy puts on Red Robins. I said, to be honest, I didn't keep up with the earnings. And he did. And Red Robin dropped about 16%. I think that was like last week or something. And, you could have made a nice penny from that drop. I said, see, that's the difference between having knowledge and executing knowledge. Why does that pertain? Because I had just did an episode on how Red Robins was the next major restaurant that I believe that was going to go bankrupt. Right? One second. This is my niece texting me. Always got to make time for your nieces and nephews, right? So yeah, having the knowledge, you can sit here and listen to me talk to them blue in the face, but if you don't execute the knowledge, it means nothing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't having the knowledge versus executing the knowledge, listening to what I'm saying over and over and over, and then executing upon it. I've been bad with that. I've been getting better with it myself, right? So that's what you need to do. Turn around and execute. That's all I gotta say. Execute it. And that's good. That's what you did, John. You executed. He said, I brought a ARKK 120 strike price, 19 March, 21 calls, up over 35%. It's a fairly new ETF with over 15 to 20 companies. What's the name of ARKK? I'm gonna look that symbol up. Oh, ARK Investment Management. Okay, we're gonna look them up. We're gonna look up ARK Investment Management. All right. Howdy from the Bay Area, Matt. What's going on? Spit the suit there. I like that suit there. Every time I see his face, he got a nice suit. We got Matt from the Bay. All right. Matt, what's going on out there in the Bay, man? Why are they giving? Speaking of this, we're going to go right into our next topic. Since you chiming in from the Bay Area, this is what I want you to chime in on, Matt. Here you go. This is what I want you to chime in on, Matt. Because I don't know what y'all got going on out there in the Bay, but y'all messing up my portfolio right now. I was looking very nice, but leave it to the Bay to mess it up. I'm typing it in right now. This is going to be my next topic. We're going to go straight into this since Matt said it. Here we go. What you guys say about this, Matt? Uber and Lyft, August 20th. What is the big thing about Uber and Lyft on August 20th? August 20th, Uber and Lyft. So, ladies and gentlemen, as y'all know, August 10th, a California judge came out in San Francisco where Uber and Lyft is headquartered. For certain, Uber is there, but I'm not sure about Lyft. But I'm almost certain, almost positive they're both there. But don't quote me on that. Anywho, Uber and Lyft, the CEO, the California judge comes out and says, hey, you must reclassify your drivers as employees versus independent contractors. Why is this such a big deal? Why is August 20th such a big deal? They gave Uber and Lyft 10 days to reclassify their drivers from independent contractors to employees. And this is in the Bay Area. Why is this such a big deal when a judge says this? One, this could start a domino effect across the country, across the globe, of people wanting to be classified as drivers. New York can come next. Texas could follow. Georgia could be right behind them. Here comes Florida. Here comes Colorado. Well, all the drivers have to be qualified as independent drivers. Now, I haven't done a study, but I've done my own independent research and asked a couple of Uber drivers, what do you rather prefer? Do you want to be an employee or would you rather be an independent contractor? And all of them tell me, Prince, I want to be an independent contractor. That's what all of them tell me. Prince, I want to be an independent contractor. And I said, why do you want to be an independent contractor? They said, hey, when they pay me, because most people use this as a side job or something over the weekend or something to do in their hard time. They want to be independent contractors. They say, if I get paid as a driver, then I have to get an hourly wage. I have to wear the company shirt. I may have to drive the company car, and I will make way less. They said, for example, if I had to make a drive that was 2 hours away from here in Denver, it was like if I had to go to Breckenridge or whatever it's called, and it was a 2 hours away, that would cost me $100. And he said they probably give me, I probably get $100 to take someone there and back. But he said if I was a driver, I probably would only get 10, 15, $16 an hour. I may only get $30, right? So no, he said as a driver, as an independent contractor, I get $100. As an employee, I may only get 15, $16 because I may get an hourly wage. You're pretty much taking Uber and turning them into a cab company. And the thing about it is, I don't see the drivers saying, we want to be employees. And I don't see the company saying, we want them to be employees. So I'm wondering, why would the politician, maybe it's because they can collect the payroll tax. Maybe if they had them on a payroll, maybe they could collect the payroll tax and then incentivize the city or something like that. They're like, hey, for some reason, the politicians jump up and says, no, these people need to be employees, which will overnight destroy Uber and Lyft. Ever since this was announced, Uber and Lyft have been struggling in already a pandemic era. Neither one of these companies are profitable. They have a lot of money, but neither one of them are profitable. We all know that. And now they have to be faced with, if they turn their independent contractors into employees, guess what's going to happen? That's automatically going to bankrupt the company. So guess what Uber and Lyft said? Uber and Lyft appealed it. And they said, hey, if we can't win this appeal, California, we out of here. I don't know if California is trying to specialize in getting companies to leave, because Tesla's doing it. You saw all these other companies talking about taking the hiatus from California. For me personally, I don't understand the benefit of being in California unless you're in entertainment. Unless you if you was in entertainment and something like that, maybe that could be to be in a LA, a hub where all the entertainment is. That could be nice. Or Silicon Valley, I can see that being a nice reason. But a business, for me to go to California and start a business with all the high taxes, with the high cost of living, you're crazy. I mean, go to the South. Look at companies. Look at places like Charlotte, North Carolina. Look at places like Texas that are very business friendly and lower taxes. So Uber right now is putting their hands on the throat for some, not Uber, but California. They're putting their hands on the throat of Uber and saying, hey, turn these people into employees, which would bankrupt the company. The company's not profitable already. So now if they turn these people into employees, they're probably going to have to supply cars, right? Or you're going to have to give out escaping for them to have a car. Now they're going to have unemployment benefits. They're going to have paid time off. They're going to have sick leave. They're going to have all this. Now you just can't drive when you're ready. Now you have to drive on the schedule. Now Uber has to hire somebody to manage the schedule for the employees. So that's why Uber and Lyft said, this is crazy. We're going to be out of here if we can't win this case. And who wins? Who wins? If Uber and Lyft leaves California, who wins? Who loses? I see a lose-lose. You know how you have a win-lose, a win-win? It's a lose-lose situation. But August 20th is the deadline they have to do it by if they can't get the appeal. And the other thing is, these two companies are based out of California. So what if these two companies just uprooted and moved to Texas, which they should do anyway? So if they just uprooted and just went to Texas, or they went to North Carolina or Georgia, what would happen? All those jobs, all those people who's worked these amazing jobs at Uber, who don't purchase these houses, that is automatically going to decrease the value of that local city, because it's people that work at Uber headquarters. That's my take on it. I don't know why the Bay Area, this happened out in San Francisco, but I'm going to get y'all takes on this, and then we're going to roll into real estate. We're going to look at the latest and the greatest on real estate. Let's see what y'all got to say here. Well, once I don't have a good feeling about Uber and Lyft if they don't win California. Yeah, it does open them up big time, because the company's going to have to relocate, because yes, they can stop their services in California, but the companies are based in California, so I'm pretty sure they probably want to leave. So I don't know. I don't have, this is a growing pains. When you get a young, unprofitable company in a new sector, this is part of the growing pains. Part of the growing pains is you're going to have to figure some things out. Just like Facebook. When Facebook came out, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all the biggest buying indicator of all time. Y'all ready for the biggest buying indicator of all time? When y'all saw Facebook, Amazon, y'all saw Facebook, which is Mark Zuckerberg. Y'all saw Amazon, which was Jeff Bezos. Y'all saw Google. I can't think of the guy's name. I can see his face, but he got a long name. He's an Indian guy. He has you got him. He's the CEO of Google. And then you had, who was the other one? Facebook, Amazon, Google. I think it was Apple. Yep, Apple, which is Tim Cook. When they all got called before Congress about having this big monopoly or whatever, antitrust, whatever, that let me know that's where you need to invest your money. They got called to Congress because the companies had gotten too big, to the companies control too much. Facebook, because now you got president, whatever you want to call him, you got Joe Biden, right, who's running for president, the Democratic nominee. He, former vice president, he's running his whole Facebook campaign, not his whole Facebook campaign. He's running his whole presidential campaign from Facebook, right? And when people do that, that's showing you the power of Facebook. Facebook has become too powerful. Amazon is too powerful. You know, if Amazon took your product and put it on the first search, or they gave it a lot of recommendations, it increases your value automatically. Google controls the internet, right? Facebook, look at Apple. Apple, they control all of the phones and how many devices and computers. These companies are becoming too powerful. That's why they call them in there. That's where you need to be investing your money. That was before the stock split. So yes, it does set things up. King, okay, he said ARC Investment Management. We can come back to them if we get a little time. AC channel. So Warren Buffett didn't buy any airline stocks recently. I don't see it. I looked in it. Y'all just saw me look through the SEC reports. I didn't see a report. Well, he doesn't own 10% anymore, so he doesn't have to report it. But I did not see it inside of his 13F. Y'all just saw with me his SEC filings that he filed yesterday on Friday. I did not see it in there. I didn't see airlines in there. I don't know if this is something that was done overnight, report that I haven't seen yet. But as of the filings they put out on Friday, August 14th, I didn't see anything. And he doesn't own 10%, so he doesn't have to constantly update. I didn't see any filings with the SEC as of yet. Matt said they're considering their drivers employees instead of independent contractors. What's up with that? That was the sweet spot of Uber and Lyft. That's a taxi cab company. You're trying to take Uber and Lyft and turn it back into the dinosaur age of being a taxi cab company. That goes against the whole point of being Uber and Lyft, of using the app to get to get a ride. Joe, what's going on, Joe Davis? I don't know what the T means, John, but okay. Yep, they have to pay benefits. That's true. Sean said it takes money to make money. If you want money, you must make an investment. That's true. The whole point of those gigs. Yes, that's true. The whole point. Luminary Williams said Apple is currently 90% overvalued. Okay. Luminary Williams said Texas, South Carolina has extreme poverty. That's why bringing big jobs to their city would be a great thing. That's the one way to turn around poverty, jobs. Poverty equals crime. No matter where you go in the world, you can show me the poorest area in Brazil, show me the poorest area in Russia, show me the poorest area in Colorado, and it probably has high crime. They kind of go hand in hand. Number one way to get rid of poverty, jobs, careers. So these impoverished areas, if you bring in a big company or a big factory or something like that, you can put a lot of people to work. And people ain't got time to be robbing you if they got to be making their own money. Most cases, not a guarantee, but most cases, people, when they have good jobs, take me for example. If y'all ever hear something coming out saying, "Oh, I broke into my neighbor's house and stole a butter knife," you know that's crazy. Unless I was high on crack or something, I'm not going to do that, right? Because one, I have my own house. Two, I'm not poor. I mean, I got a penny. I'm not, I ain't no rich guy, but I got pennies. I got a couple pennies. I don't have a reason to go out there and steal somebody else's stuff for no reason. So that's the number one way. But if I was poor, if I didn't have any money and I was hungry and I want to get something, I would entertain some foolishness. But I'm not going to entertain no foolishness right now because of what? That's the number one way. It's the needs. The law, I can't say the exact word, but it's the law of needs. First, before I can think about making money, you must feed me. I must have food and shelter. If I'm outside butt naked, I'm not going to be thinking about, and I don't have a place to stay and I'm naked with no clothes, I'm not going to be thinking about investing money. I'm going to be thinking about food. I'm going to be thinking about clothes, shelter, all those things first. Once those things are secure and I have money to take care of myself, then I would think about investing. That's why I tell people now, even if you're broke, you're going to become an investor of some sort. You got it. Look at it. You got it right there. Maslow's hierarchy. That's exactly what it is, right? You got to have these things. I can't even say the word properly, but you guys and girls get what I'm saying. Okay. Exactly, Max B. Sell the company when it's not telling you the story. Yes. If the story is no longer making sense, If Uber was to pull, Uber and Lyft didn't win California and they left California. Now I will wait for if there was another state to try to pull the same thing. That's when I would look at liquidating Uber. If it was another state that if this ruling was used to go to New York and go to Georgia and go to Florida and go to other states and try to spread it, because you got to think about it, Uber is a global company. If this start to go around, then I'll be worried. But I think a compromise is going to be made. Uber market cap is $30 billion. If they call Prince Dykes, CEO of Uber, I think his name is Darren something. I can't say his name. Mr. K. I know it starts with a K. If you tune in, you listening right now, call me to the table. I guarantee you I can get a deal done. Guaranteed. It's a $30 billion company. You don't think I can work something with a politician or work something with the drivers or whoever to say, hey, look, we can offer XYZ. We can come up with benefit packages. If you drive for Uber, we will pay you for your car or we'll pay you for something. You got to be able to compromise. That's what happens when you're a new company with new ideas. Other states can do exactly if they move. Yes, you're right. If another state, because somebody's gonna be like, you know what, you're right, California. Somebody, another politician somewhere can run it and run them out of Texas next or wherever they may go. And then now you got all these states to where I think the drivers are going to lose more than anybody else. He said, all these yeah, pretty much. Bell, I say nothing but a high grade of what you call it. All these companies need to stop getting welfare checks from the government, the bailouts. I mean, when you look at it, but they look at these companies being too big to fail, and the government looks at a company is more important than a person. I mean, that's what Sorry said. They'll rather bail out a company because they know if we bail out Southwest, Southwest is going to create jobs. Versus if we give everybody a $1,200 check, they're going to throw it up in the air, it's going to disappear, and these people are not going to have jobs. That's how a lot of people look at it. Woke one said, "Good take, Prince. I'll be waiting on 820. California, I swear, could mess a good thing, could mess up a good thing. Can't even balance their state budget." Yes, I think California is going to go bankrupt, and then they're going to go to the federal government for a bailout. They're going to be getting some of that welfare you just talking about, Luminaire, right? Eastwood 29 said, "Can you explain the EP ratio?" I think you mean the PE ratio. I mean, I never heard of an EP ratio, but I know the PE ratio. That's the price to earnings. Let's see. Are you talking about the price to earnings? I don't want to try to look up and make sure I'm saying the wrong thing here. Looking up the wrong thing. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Can you explain the PE ratio? I think you meant PE. Slow. Okay. Most southern states rank bottom of education, healthcare, employee technology. Well, the one way to turn it around, try to put some money there. Have better schools. Why is it? Are these people just because you're from the South? That mean you can't learn? What does that mean? Because people, they're saying southern states. Because people look at, oh, the South, you're country dumb, you country, but guess what? They're also the poorest states. You show me the poorest area, not even the southern states. Show me the poorest areas in Europe, and they probably are at the bottom when it comes to education, healthcare, employment, anywhere. So I won't say southern states. You just say the poorest states. Some people get that mixed up. I look at it and say, if you're poor, you're probably going to have less access to things. Maybe they don't have the right books. Maybe they don't have the right exposure. Maybe they don't have the right, whatever the case may be. But usually, when you look at people that are at the bottom with education and healthcare and employment and technology, they're probably your poorest people. Let's try to put some money there. Yeah, you're right. We already got into that one. Let's write that down. He says Cisco dropped 12% last week is a good buy. Cisco probably had the earnings. I think Cisco earnings came out last week. Let me look at and see why Cisco dropped. Cisco has always been pretty, what you call it, too. We get a little time in the show. We'll look at them. You're right. Another drive company will. No, I don't think another drive company is going to step in. I think that a taxi cab is going to return. Somebody's going to say, "Hey, these people need to get around." The taxi cab driver is going to be like, "Yes, we're back," and they're going to come right back, and we're going to be riding taxi cab services. Would it be cheaper than an Uber? Probably not. Right? The same people that was riding in Uber and Lyft are probably going to be in what you call it. Okay, Cisco had a private acquisition news today. Held company call. Okay, so they bought a new company. We're looking at Cisco. We can. So now we have. Let's go into our next topic, which is going to be real estate. How do y'all think the real estate market is performing during the pandemic? How do you think the real estate market is performing during the pandemic? What do y'all think real estate? We're going to get into real estate, right? I figured you meant PE ratio. So the PE ratio is the price to earnings. So people use the PE ratio. Before I get into the real estate, the PE ratio is talking about price to earnings, the price of the stock versus its earnings. So usually, the higher the PE ratio is, what is it? The higher the PE ratio, people look at it as being overvalued, versus the lower the PE ratio, they look at you being more towards the book value. So when we're going to look at it, when we talk about the PE ratio, let's look at the PE ratio. So when I look at the PE ratio, when you look at the PE ratio of Apple, you must compare it to its own company, own tech company. The tech industry has a different PE ratio than, let's say, the auto industry, right? So when you look at a PE company, you can't compare Apple's PE. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but it's not noted to compare a PE ratio of Apple to the PE ratio of Walmart, because they're in two different industries. You got to compare Apple to Microsoft, Walmart to Target, who are in the same exact industry. Price to earnings. So this, people use it to see if a company is overvalued compared to your earnings going to the price of the stock. Now, one of the things you always want to pay attention to on Yahoo Finance, you can see this. The PE ratio goes back over the last 12 months. When we're investing, we don't care about the last 12 months. We care about the future 12 months. So what people like to factor in is called the called a future PE ratio, the earnings, the future earnings. They're using the future earnings and the price of the stock compared to the future earnings. So when they look at the PE ratio, this is telling you the price of the stock compared to its particular earnings. So you can see if something's valued or overvalued. All right, I see we're in here pretty nice today. Y'all hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully that helped you out. So that's why people use a PE ratio, price to earnings, to see if a stock is overvalued, and how does it compare. How is the earnings of the stock compared to the price of the stock? Because you can have companies that are low and unprofitable with a high price. All right, let's take a look at it, ladies and gentlemen. I see what y'all are saying before we get into the real estate. Beef, what's going on, Beef? Beef said, I think it's good. You say, Sean, what's going on, Sean? All right, he said, I think the real estate market is booming. I'm going to show you guys and girls, see how y'all got to think and look. Every quarter, or sometimes every month or every quarter, there are companies that follow particular indexes that put out information. One way you look at leading indicators of real estate. Leading indicators, number one leading indicator of real estate is building permits. The number one leader of real estate is building permits. What does that mean? Before somebody can build something, they must have a permit. I mean, if you're building a doghouse, yes. But before you can build something, you must have a permit. So you have to file a permit with the city or the state or whatnot. And there are companies that are foundations that sit back and they collect how many building permits are being submitted. When building permits slow down, that means there's probably going to be a future of the slowdown of the real estate market. Building permits, census.gov. I'll get into that report later on, but you can look up that report every month to keep track of building permits. Are building permits increasing or they're decreasing? Because if building permits are increasing, that means that builders are building more. And a builder's not going to build more unless people are planning on being there, right? If building permits start to decrease, that means that it could be a slowdown in real estate. How can you be buying something when the supply is not there? So we're going to look at this, ladies and gentlemen. He said, B said, buy index in real estate. Yes, you can buy index in real estate. RLE, I think that's what it's called. RLE, XRLE. Commercial real estate is done, game over. Yeah, commercial real estate is definitely going to change. Dervin said there's been no drop in the housing market, even interest rates drop. So one could assume they have been doing okay. We're going to look into that. The real estate market is still doing good. Nico said the real estate agents I follow is saying it's booming. Supply can't keep up with the demand. Multiple offers on one home and sellers making way more than the asking. You're right. When I purchased my home, it was competitive to purchase my home. Nico, what's going on? That's my guy, Nico, y'all. I like that graduation picture. Congratulations on just graduating and all that good stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, y'all ready for it? We ain't got to sit here and talk about it. We're going to get right into the actual reports. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on the Mortgage and Bankers Association. The Mortgage and Bankers Association follows the real estate market. And this is what they're telling us. July, new home purchase mortgage applications. When somebody goes to buy a home, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to buy a home, you must put in what's called an application for the loan. This company follows the loans for what this company does is follow the loans for people that are applying for home loans, whether you're refinancing or you're purchasing for a new home, right? So it tells you right here, ladies and gentlemen, now I don't know a real estate agent. Well, I know some real estate agents, obviously, but this is when you're becoming a seasoned investor. You have to follow reports and read reports as they come out. You have to look up the building permit reports on the census.gov. You have to look up the mortgage purchase applications. How many applications are being purchased? So right here in July, new home purchase mortgage applications increased 39% year over year. All right, Wednesday, August 13th, this came out on Thursday. The Mortgage and Bankers Association Builders Application Survey data for July, the Builders Application Survey for July shows mortgage applications for new home purchases increased by 39% compared to a year ago. So even during pandemic, even from a year ago, 39% increase on people wanting to buy a home. I'm telling you guys and girls, we just talked about we just talked about the hierarchy. Yeah, my goodness, man, I'm messing this word up. But anyway, the hierarchy, nobody's thinking about buying a home unless they're usually in good financial condition. So new people, 39% increase year over year. Compared to June 2020, applications increased by 1%. So from June to July, a 1% increase in application. A 39% increase from last year this time, last July compared to now, 39% increase. And last year there was no COVID-19. Right? This is what they had to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read this coming straight from the Mortgage and Bankers Association. New home sales activity continued to rebound in July after a pandemic endured a low point in April of 2020. In fact, applications for new home purchases with home builder affiliates were 39% higher than in July of 2019, says Joel Can, MBA associate, the Mortgage and Bankers Associate Vice President of Economic Industry and Forecasts. On an unadjusted basis, new home sales were estimated to be up 14% over the year and showed a year-over-year gain in the second consecutive month in July. We're not talking about in Colorado. We're not talking about in Maryland, Georgia. This is national. They're looking at all the people. When you apply for a new home, that data is collected when you buy a new home. When you apply for a new home, that data is collected. When a new home is brought or sold, that data is collected. When building permits are made, that data is collected, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want to keep y'all in tune with. So you can see as they're reporting, they're talking about where we at. There we go. We're going to look at that too. They're telling you what is real estate is doing. So right now they're telling you, hey, people are buying homes, which sounds kind of crazy with unemployment up high, but this is real data. So here, right here, this is what they're saying. Typically, new homes purchases peak in April, then decline throughout the remainder of the year. Right here, this is what they're saying. New homes purchases peak in April, then decline throughout the remainder of the year. With the disruption this spring, COVID shocked everybody. Seasonal patterns are not holding, and hence the seasonal adjustment is like overstating the increase for this month. While this, and they're pretty much saying that you had bent up demand. People that wanted to buy houses in the spring, they stopped because of COVID. Now those people are kind of releasing now, right? While the strong signal is still a strong signal for demand for housing, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the secret sauce. While this is a signal of still a strong demand for housing, we remain concerned about supply. Nico, you just talked about supply. Housing starts have not kept up with demand. Housing starts, ladies and gentlemen, that is also data that is collected. When someone starts to build a house, they collect that data. Housing starts are not keeping up with demand. So what they're saying is we remain concerned about the supply. Housing starts are not keeping up with demand, and this could hold back space for sales in coming months. So they say we're not building houses fast enough as the demand is here, but the supply is not there. You can't sell homes that are not built yet. So that could make it look like a decline in the coming months. So here's a whole report, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all want me to drop the link to this, I can do this. This is put out by the Mortgage and Bankers Association, who tracks all this data. Let me know what y'all think of that. That makes sense. Now we're going to go into the building permits. I'm going to show you guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We're going to go into this. Here we go. Now we're going to look into building permits. Here we go. So you have a lot of people that talk. This is from the U.S. Census Bureau. They put out a report. I think they come out every month. Every month, they put out 1 month annually. So here are the building permits. You can look at the building permits by the United States region, state by state, or you can look annual by state, metropolitan area, whatever you want to look at. These are building permits. Building permits are a leading indicator of what's going on. So let's look at, let's look at by state. You can pull out the data if you want to look at by the state, what year, what month, what series, all that type of stuff. So let's look at June. Right? Oh, they pulled it up in the Excel spreadsheet. Or whatever. I'll give me 1 second. So they have it in a spreadsheet, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to where we was at. I'll give me 1 second. One second. All right. So this is a spreadsheet of building permit surveys. This is telling you all the buildings that were built by the state. If you live in Hawaii, if you live in New York, whatever it's doing. Oh, we got Larry Delby in the house. What's going on? He said Hawaii real estate is flourishing. I bet, man. I wish I would have brought in sold out there. Larry, what's going on, Larry? But throughout the country, real estate has been doing good. Just in the Aurora area in Denver in the last 6 years, which is very in the last decade, the real estate market has doubled 106%. That's pretty crazy, right? Let's take a look here. This was very concerning. You're right, Luminaire wins. 50 million who can't pay rent. With all this unemployment, I thought real estate, I was looking at the DRV for a while earlier this year. When I'm looking at the real estate reports coming out about real estate, then I'm looking at the real market. I'm thinking, this is not adding up. How is unemployment at 10%, but everybody's buying houses? Right? Looking at the simplistic way. What's going on here? Some people can't pay rent. People lost their jobs. What's going, is leaving me kind of in a fickle place. If you don't have a job, why unemployment should be sucking right now, right? Carter says real estate market is bad right now. I'm in New York, and they're talking about there's a lot of vacant apartments in Manhattan, more than they ever seen. King Carter, I'm not sure why you live in New York. You live in the city, or you live in the state. That was my last book signing, New York City. That was my last one. But are you talking about the city, or are you talking about, or you live upstate? You live in Rochester somewhere, or upstate, Buffalo, or are you talking about the city of New York? Yes, it is a concern. Is the real estate a bubble? Are we building a bubble here in real estate? That is a very big concern. I've been thinking about buying DRV, a bearish. I know what that is. Thinking the real estate will drop starting next year. DRV is a short on real estate. As real estate goes down, DRV will go up. It's a leveraged bearish ETF that Woke One is talking about. It's something that I had in the beginning of the year. I made some money off of it. It's not something I just buy and hold forever. But when real estate would drop, I would sell it, buy it, sell it, or whatnot. And it did pretty good for me. But I didn't hold on to it because I was reading the reports that was coming about real estate. It's not correlate. It's not making sense to me right now. I'm like, why is, we're not seeing all this unemployment. We're seeing all this unemployment. We're seeing so many people, unemployment continuing to rise. But the stimulus package has helped out the real estate market because people can't foreclose. We're not seeing foreclosures. They have forbearance laws that was passed in the stimulus. You can't lose your home. Then plus, with all this unemployment, people are using unemployment. That's what it is, right? That's a trick that I'm not seeing right now. I'm not seeing real estate reflect how I was thinking I was going to see it. Okay, so he predicting an 80% drop. Okay. How you doing, Ms. Vita Reed? Hello, sir. How you doing, Ms. Vita Reed? Nice. Thank you for checking in. I see Luminaire wins. He's going in, and he's a pessimist. I think that might be Peter Skiff. That might be Peter Skiff right there. But he's not saying nothing wrong. Hey, Prince, could you increase in home buying people due to people leaving the city for suburban and rural areas? I'm kind of in a rural area, not very rural, but it's a new development area, and that could be that could be a pretty good idea. People could be leaving the city and leaving their apartments and buying homes because of the low interest rates. Now, when they cut the interest rates push up houses. That's the whole part of stimulating the economy. Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, cut interest rates to an all-time low. Now, everybody's refinancing, right? Just last year, a good 3.5 or 4 was a good interest rate. Now the average interest rate is 3%. Nationwide, average interest rate is 3%. I got to do something myself. Some people going back in, refinancing again, lower rates. So when you have lower rates, that pushes up the houses. Luminaire, that could be one. Corporations are buying. Corporations could be buying it. Institutional investors could be buying, not the average American. That could be a point. More knowledge. What's going on? Right? So, yes, right, ladies and gentlemen, for the people that came in, we talked about doing a recap. We talked about Uber and Lyft, August 20th on Uber and Lyft. Going to be a big day. This is the day, August 10th, a California court ruled that Uber needs to reclassify its drivers from independent contractors to employees, which can wreck the whole business model. of Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft is threatening to move out of California, but the bad part is this could follow them. This could follow into New York. This could follow into LA. This could follow everywhere else. This could be detrimental to Uber and Lyft. As you guys, girls know, I'm a big investor into Uber and Lyft, right? When that story stops to make sense to me, once I see politics is getting in the way of business, then I'll be out of the company. I just have to take the loss, right? I don't want to take the loss. I think it's a great company that has a way to figure it out. But Uber has a market cap of $30 billion. You mean to tell me they can't figure that out? I can figure out a compromise. I think they're going to figure it out. Management, you better figure something out. It's either sink or swim right now. The second thing we talked about big money moves. What is big money moves? Institutional investors. August 15th was a big day, because August 14th was the deadline. If you're an institutional investor, meaning you have over 100 million or more that you invest in capital, private equity, or whatever, you must report to the SEC every quarter, 45 days after the quarter ends. The second quarter ended June 30th. 45 days after that, August 15th. The last day was August 14th. So you can go to the SEC.gov, look up the Form 13Fs, and see what all the big boys are holding. This is why everybody's like, Warren Buffett brought this, Warren Buffett brought that, Warren Buffett sold this. That's why they know that. The other thing we talked about Apple versus Fortnite. Apple versus Fortnite, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to get out of here soon. Apple versus Fortnite. Apple is looking like they're going to try to push them for they're trying to push them for unemployment. I mean, not for unemployment. They're trying to go against the big guys and charge them to be in a monopoly for charging them in the App Store. So that's what we're looking at. And that's a recap of what we did today. We talked about today. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all enjoyed the discussion. He said, very possible I'll leave the city too ASAP. That's true. A lot of people are leaving the city. Luminary said, thanks for the great discussion. Love your show. Luminary wins. Appreciate it. He said unemployment's at 75%. Unemployment's currently 7%. Who are the buyers? So he's wondering, that's a good question. With high unemployment, who's buying all these houses? I don't know. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get out of here. I thank y'all for tuning in. Luminaire, thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. Love y'all for tuning in. But that's going to conclude today's topic. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. Check this out on the podcast all across the globe. All your platforms. Follow us on Instagram. Get your Investor Show mug. Make sure you grab that Wesley Learns book series. Until the next video podcast, cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me around the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. Thank you.